Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo, and in today's video I am going to take this piece of jewelry, which is an old Avon product. I don't know if you can see there, hand painted in Brazil exclusively for Avon. I'm going to take this apart. This was actually my mom's, and as you can tell she wore it a lot, and it's just on this satin cording here, but it's actually really kind of dirty. I am going to try to take this off without cutting it and clean it up for maybe another project, because I want to make this into a long necklace. I'm going to use these beads, and I'm also going to use some tiny little pink beads that I have. So the way I'm going to take this apart is I have some like long nose pliers, needle nose pliers sometimes people call them, and I'm going to try to just put that in there like that and loosen this up a little bit and just untie the knot. Hopefully that's going to work, and I may have to mess with this for a little bit, so I'm going to do this off camera and mess with it for a few minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll show you if I actually had any success. Looks like I actually might have success. Oh, maybe I won't have to work on it very long. How about that? That was easier than I thought. There we go. Well, whoop-de-doo. Okay, I'm gonna have to undo that. All right, that was easy. Like I said, I'm gonna clean that up. That almost looks like a little bottle, doesn't it? Huh. So normally when I make necklaces, I use 20-pound fishing line. And I actually have a video all about that. So I'll either put it at the end of this video or maybe a link up here so you can go check out what I say about that. Today though, I think I'm going to use this. I have it on hand. It's from Beading. It's pink. And this is kind of a design, not kind of, it is a design with me because I don't really know how this is going to turn out. The hole for this is pretty big. And I'm wondering if I can put two pieces, well not two pieces, but double this up somehow, put a bead at the end, and draw up some more beading wire here. This is not going to be fully beaded all the way around the neck, only because it could get a little heavy, and I don't want this to be a real heavy piece. So it's just going to have a few beads here, and then probably the rest of it will be some type of chain. So I am going to measure around my neck how far I want it down, like how long I want it to lay, and then add a little bit more to it. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a clasp. I might have a clasp, so I actually measure around my neck and add a little bit more, but I'm going to add even a little bit more because I may have a clasp. Like I said, you're designing with me today. And I like to do these because, for one thing, you kind of see the design process, but also any like boo-boos that happen, you'll see that that happens with all of us, not just beginners. And I don't want any of you to get discouraged when you're trying to design and make jewelry. You are going to make mistakes. There are going to be some bobbles, and that's okay. So, okay. Let me get these beads out. Get my wire cutters. Just put them away. All right. Cut these off. I need one bead right now. And I'm going to put it on the wire. And then I'm going to line that up. I'm going to put this through here. And see how that stops right there? And you need to have a big enough bead where it's not going to go into the hole. And maybe I'll put another bead at the top here, so it's flanked. Okay, and then now I can start the design process. Let me grab some of my pink beads, and this is going to be just a very simple design. I think I'm just going to do every other bead. And you got to remember what you do on one side, you're going to do on the other, unless sometimes I've actually had both sides a little different. So, pink bead, a green bead, a pink bead, yeah, nope, I need another green bead. Might hear some kids in the background. Those are my grandkids wrestling around. Okay, let's do the other side. So we got a pink bead. I could actually make this, you know what? I think I am going to make it asymmetrical. So as I'm stringing these along, they're asymmetrical, but they're not even. And even though I like asymmetrical, I want my sides even. So I think I might bring in these glass pearls. They're the same size as the pink beads. So let's do this. So I'm gonna have to take this all apart. And y'all are probably going, oh, all that work, but this is part of the design process. So I think I'm gonna see how this fits along the pink side by side. These may be a little bit smaller than the pink. I could do these a couple of different ways. Where I could have pink on one side and pearl on the other. Or I could do, let's see, we got pink. Let's do this. Then we need pink on this side. I don't know how far up I'm going to go. Maybe I'll go as far as I have green beads. I don't know. Will that make it too heavy? We'll have to see. What do you think? I think I like that. I think I'm going to add some more beads though. So we'll do green and then white. And then we need green and then pink. Since this is going to be, let's see, this piece right here is kind of heavy, and these green beads are kind of heavy. What do we have here? Well, I only have, we'll go ahead and finish out the green beads here, because I only have 4 more beads, and we'll see how heavy it is. There's a lot to think about when you're designing. How things lay, how things might turn, the weight of something. Sometimes people have a hard time with heavy things around their neck. It may give them a headache or a neck ache. I think that's as far as I go. I have 2 more beads and I can actually make some matching earrings. Okay, so we're going to go that far. And I don't think it's going to be too heavy. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to use a chain. Since this is really pretty pink, I'm just going to leave it at that. We're going to use the beading wire as part of the design. That's one thing about these bead-along bead wires. They're really pretty, and you can do that with them. You can have your beading wires show. Let me clean up my mat and then we'll go on to the next step. All right, so I'm going to use these. They're called clamshell bead tips, bead caps. Sometimes they'll call them a crimp bead cover. Sometimes they'll come with little hooks instead of little circles there. I like the circles. So I've got to figure out how long I want this. Since I am putting a clasp on it. First I said I wasn't going to, but I am going to put a clasp on it. I don't necessarily have to have it go over my head. And usually a clasp is about 1 inch. So, all that in mind, I'm putting it around my neck. I'm putting it how I want it. And then I'm going to put that on. And I'm going, like I said, it's about 1 inch. The clasp and these little things will be about 1 inch. So that would be 1/2 inch on each side. So I'm going to tie 2 knots. I'm going to tie 1. And I want the knots, I want the clasp to be about right where I have my fingers, okay? So there's 1 knot. And then I'm going to tie another knot on top of it. And I'm going to do this on both sides. Okay, got that. Let me see. I may have to tie another knot because I don't want it to go through that hole. And I think it's okay, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to tie 1 more knot because I want a big knot here so it doesn't go through the hole in that clamshell. Okay, so once I have that tied, I'm going to bring this up. And I'm going to use my regular pliers to gently squeeze that closed. And I got quite a few of that left, which, but I could probably use it. Maybe I could use it on my earrings or something. I don't know. Maybe that'll be another video. Let me know if you'd like to see another video on how I do earrings to match this. And set that aside. And then I'm just going to feel around to see if anything's poking out, which it is not. If it was, I would just take my nail and kind of push it back into that opening there. And now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Make sure I put my clamshell on there first. That would be a bummer if you forgot to do that. And then make sure, I'm just going to measure. I have to hold it up a little bit, and I'm going to measure where that is, and I'm going to tie 2 knots right there. Well, actually 3. All right, so I have both sides all done. Now I'm just going to figure out what kind of a clasp I want to do. I could do just a regular lobster claw clasp, or I could do a fancy clasp. Since it's really not going to show, I'm just going to do a lobster claw. So let's see, I need to get a jump ring. And then a lobster claw. And actually, I will need 2 jump rings for this. The other jump ring, I'm just going to do a small one. Whoops. So for the small one, this is the one I'm going to hang the lobster claw on. And I'm actually going to use 2 pliers. I have an injury on this finger, and I can't really use it very well. So we'll do this. I'm going to put that in the hole. Close her up. All right, and then the other side, open her up. And we are finished. Now, I'm going to go outside and put this on. Just warning, I don't have, the shirt I have is just a St. Kitts t-shirt. So I'm not sure I would wear this necklace with this shirt, but you will get an idea of the length and how it looks. And here's about the length that I have. Like I said, I would not wear it with this shirt. I need to find something I can wear this with. This is pretty. Or maybe I'll just re-gift it to my mom. Thanks for joining me, and y'all have a great day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo, signing out for now. Bye-bye.